One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, blah, 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 blah. We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Welcome to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. I'm your host. I say rusty right now, off a couple of weeks here because of some technical difficulties last week, and the week before was a holiday. So sorry to take so long of a break, but I think probably needed it a little bit. How you doing, John?
Hey, what's up, Ahman? I'm doing well.
Chilling. Good. Yep. So yeah, had a good long break, and now getting back to what we do. We talk about stuff in the video game world. We talk about topics, new games coming out, things of that mention. So the ultimate destination for all things gaming, hosted by myself and my good friend John Audius, and Rico may be coming in sooner or later. And so this is the weekly gateway to the latest news, hottest game releases, and in-depth discussions of video games, and even some TV series that we started watching up to. Did you catch an episode? Did you watch the episode, John?
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it gets interesting.
I've got I have questions. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the boys.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to it. So whether you're a casual gamer or a hardcore esports fan, this is your show to watch if you don't watch anything else. So grab your controller, settle in, and join us as we dive into some fun and interesting things. So John, how's been your last couple weeks? So it's been a while.
Yeah,
we're mid-July now, man. Mid-July.
I was gonna say, where even are we? 4th of July was the 4th of July. That was fun. Stayed home, stayed in the area. Actually went to a friend's house. That was a blast. What have we been doing? I don't know. Just enjoying the summer, I guess. I'm on.
Yeah.
I know. We had a movie day last weekend. That's what I was gonna say.
What was the movies?
Yeah. So the first movie was one that I've been wanting to watch for quite some time. Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales. Yeah. So I finally got to see that at 2.5 hours. I just gonna say, I was expecting a little bit of closure. You can still say, hey, we've got a new movie coming out. But I was like, dude, I just spent 2.5 hours and you didn't close the storyline for me.
I guess Marvel and Disney didn't know that for my man John.
Yeah.
They closed it off properly.
Oh, I guess I'm in for a 5-hour movie that I have to wait for a year and a half for the next portion of it. So I was a little kind of bummed about that, but I enjoyed it. And then Disney movie. My daughter, do you know the Descendants series from Disney? Oh, you do?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep,
yeah. They have a new one.
Yep. Nice. I'm trying to think what we did. So we had didn't do much for the 4th. Was able to get some good food out of some of the restaurants were still open in our area. And then the week after, we caught a little bit of the hurricane here. So we survived that. Our neighborhood was actually safe from all the, I say, structural damage of stuff, but we lost internet for a little bit. And then when I get to Nebraska, and the reason why we didn't have an episode last week, because the internet at my house, one of the wires like in the wall and the fixtures of the house was like frayed and disconnected. So it was a legit no power, no internet working. And I was like, oh man, Brett, you got the message. And our guest coming in got the message too. I was like, no. So 2 weeks off. I think we haven't done that since like Christmas break and New Year's or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but traveling all over the world for me, kind of like our guest too. So I'm back in town. I went to Green Bay for a Packer golf event, and then I was back in Nebraska for esports camp, and then tomorrow I'm headed out to Las Vegas Evo for my first time experiencing the FGS tournament out there. So I'm super excited about that. Little rest for the weary right now. I'm gonna try to get some good sleep tonight. Thank God my flight is not super early. It's a 12:30 p.m. flight, so I can sleep in a little bit, but then get things going. So yeah, man, that's what we've been cracking here at the Green Resident. My wife's flight though, she got super delayed with my granddaughter last night. So they were supposed to get in at 8:50 p.m. They didn't get in till like midnight. So we didn't officially get back home till like a little bit after 1:15 or something, driving on the Houston highways late at night. So good thing is no traffic. No traffic at all. So that's about it. So, all right, man, we got a fantastic guest here. A friend of mine, Dr. Tom Ches, the guy that is one of our sponsors, John, Sly Drink. And real quick, I'll do the read for Sly. Play is an essential part of life, whether it's digital or outdoors. Exploring your world is fun. Keep the good times rolling and support your play with Sly Boost, Sly Chill, and Sly Dream. So explore. So he sent me a message one day and had a description of our guest, and I was like, oh man, that's sweet what he's going to be doing, going around to big video game events, but then also spreading good words about mental health in the gaming side, in the gaming industry too. So I was like all aboard. I'm like, man, we got to get him on. So I got a chance to reach out to him, and he said yes. So I'm gonna bring in our guest here real quick. It is my man Rob Davis. A great name, by the way, StreetTacoEater. And what's crazy, when Tom introduced me through like E217 through email, and the name Rob Davis, I'm like, wait a minute, I know this guy because one of my pro teammates, was Rob Davis, and he was the long snapper. And I'm like, is Rob doing stuff like he was in the game?
Definitely not the same guy.
Right. So real quick, Rob, thanks for coming on the show. He is the founder of the Nine2 Ninety2 Foundation and GameStrong LiveStronger website. If you go to that website, just as it said, GameStrong Live Longer, or Live Stronger, excuse me, you can go and see what his foundation is all about. But we got him on the show, so we're going to get into that right now. But before we get into the questions about him and what he does, what he's been doing on the road lately, and what he does at his foundation, one question I ask all my guests is, what is your gamer origin story? So how old were you? What was the game? And who was it? Was it uncle, mother, dad, a cousin removed from their mom's side? Who was that person that got you gaming?
Well, I don't know originally. So I'm an older guy. I'm 61. So I started as long ago as I can remember playing pinball. So pinball was my thing. And then my uncle in 1975, so I would have been 12, got me an Atari for home TV. And that was Pong. And I sat for endless hours. I was raised by a single mom, so I was home by myself a lot. She was at the time, she was a server at a restaurant. And so I was home at night a lot. And so I was hooked from that point on. And then shortly after that, arcades started to come up, other consoles, different things. I got heavily involved in the whole arcade thing, the never ending stream of quarters in your pocket. Asteroids and Galaga were my two main. I was unbeatable.
The classics.
by the time I was finished playing Asteroids, there'd probably be 7 or 8 quarters up on top for the wait in line because everyone wanted to hop on, and my game never seemed to end until I ended up just turning it over to someone. And then from there, it just was a progression. I never stopped gaming. My wife and I have been married 36 years. We have 6 kids, and all of our kids grew up, all of us gaming together on top of all the other things that we did. So I've been through about every console, about every PC game. I would say over all of these years since 1975, maybe collectively 3 years total that I wasn't actively gaming. So I have a deep passion for gaming, for the gaming community, and all the opportunity that's there.
So the old school, the classics, I say that's the stuff that got everybody going, because I was also Galaga, and I had DK, Donkey Kong on ColecoVision.
Yeah.
But then going to the arcades when they were, a thing, that was my go-to. You mentioned Asteroids. That would be my game, along with Pac-Man and Centipede or something like that, And then the console life came into play with Nintendo, then the Legend of Zelda and all that fun stuff. What you got, John?
What I think is really interesting is, when I think of an arcade, and I think of, a combination of obviously video games, but I also think of like pinball machines. So I think it's really cool that you said pinball machine, because that almost, when you said that, it got me thinking like, well, that was kind of like the first, not really a video game, but kind of the same type of thing. It's a game that's interactive, and you can go play it at a spot.
Yep. Played it for years. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have a pinball machine or game?
It's been a long time, but I'll tell you, I was so into it. So we started a skateboard team when I was a teenager.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Nice. We had it was called Godzilla Skates, and we all had names, obviously. So we were big Who fans at the time. And so because I played so much pinball, I had the name The Wizard from Pinball Wizard from Tommy.
Of course.
And so pinball's I haven't played a good game of pinball probably in 20 years though. So
you're due.
I'm due. We got an old school arcade place not far from the house. They've got some pinball machines. I need to go rev it up again.
Oh yeah, pinball. I got one right out the side the door here in my on my second floor. It's the Batman. It's the one with Jim Carrey where he's the Riddler.
Yeah.
Two-Face. That's the excuse me, that's the one I got sitting outside my door here. So
nice.
speaking of games, so what is currently your game of choice today?
Well, it's been Call of Duty, but I put a hold on that because of what we're doing.
Right. The
travel, and then we're launching a bunch of new stuff. So we actually have a private Minecraft server that's going to be integrated into our new private community that we're launching this weekend. So it's been Call of Duty. I've kind of told my followers, my viewers, that I'm not going to be back on Call of Duty until Black Ops 6 comes out. Treyarch's coming back, as anyone knows Call of Duty. Yep. So that's kind of been my go-to. I mean, we have played, I would say, longest series, of myself and kids. My go-to, World of Warcraft for a very long time, Halo for a very long time with my boys, especially.
That's my shooter right there.
Yeah, yeah, amazing game. And I've played them all, though. I mean, when Valorant came out, I had early beta access, fell in love with that. But that's a high-skill cap game. Apex, same thing, high-skill cap game. Call of Duty is just the typical, kind of W key sweat. Not that there isn't skill there.
Right.
But I probably have it's competitive hours I have between that, World of Warcraft and Halo, but I've played about everything.
Oh yeah, you get that all around gamer from RTS to FPS, any sports games or FGC, any fighting games.
I mean, a lot of driving games. I mean, a huge amount of Mortal Kombat. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat when it was on console. There was a gas station on the corner next to the office building I worked at years ago, and every lunch and every break, my buddies and I were over there duking it out. Sub-Zero was my guy. I was unbeatable.
Oh, nice. I love it.
But I mean, there's sports games. I mean, so one of my sons, when he was young, was a quarterback on his football team, and his quarterback coach, good friend of mine, said, "Hey, you guys need to play some Madden so he can learn to read defenses and whatnot." So he and I played a bunch of Madden.
Good guy.
So yeah, I've literally played about everything that's ever been out. That's I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of games every year, new games every year, but for the most part, the mainstream games, I've played them all.
Gotcha. So yeah, thank you for that road, taking that journey down the gaming side of it. So now let's talk about what you're doing now, the journey that you're doing right now, and then also the journey that's what you can share with us on how you created your foundation, the 9-2 Ninety2 Foundation, and GameStrong. So get us updated on the places you hit up so far this summer and your whole foundation journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me kind of reverse those, because the journey will make a little more sense if there's context from the foundation. Right. So on December 7th of 2021, we lost our oldest son to his struggle with mental health. And it caught us completely off guard. It was only up about the last year and a half of his life that we started seeing that something was changing. Now, from the outside, you never would have imagine that there was anything happening. And that led me to a lot of insights. I mean, his mom and I have been married, coming up on 36 years. He has 5 brothers and sisters, large extended family. We're a very close family. And from the outside, he was a 6'3", incredibly handsome young man, tennis pro. And you would never have imagined that he was suffering the way he was, because he was doing it in silence for the most part. Right. So when that all happened, through that process, we realized several things. One of the biggest things is the mental health care system is, one, completely overwhelmed. Yeah. And because of that, it's really breaking the system. Almost everything that you deal with is either it has to be triage. Doesn't matter if it's a hospital, doesn't matter if it's a counselor. They're dealing with, if you're going to harm yourself or others, then they're going to take you and deal with you. And we've seen the whole spectrum from, a county hospital experience to a $10,000 a week experience to private counselors. And it's not to say, and I please, for the mental health care professionals, I have mad respect for what they're doing. But it is a completely overwhelmed system, because the problem is absolutely so big. So that being the experience, as I started looking at what could we do after this experience, I started a foundation. The foundation, the 9-2 Foundation, was his birth year. So he was born September 2nd, 1992. And it's been through a lot of us figuring out what practical solution can we bring. Now, my experience in gaming and my passion and love for, and by the way, just as an update, so StreetTacoEater is where everything actually is. There's going to be some updates with this new thing we're launching. So that was the older site, the GameStrong LiveStronger. We'll talk about that. So I have such a passion for the gaming community. It's been such a big part of my life. And because my belief in how powerful gaming is, and how connected it is globally, over half the world's population games in one form or another actively every month, I knew that we could do more. I knew that we could leverage that connection and that love of gaming to be able to provide practical solutions. Now, the foundation is based on 4 things. Number 1, having a place to belong. Number 2, people to connect with. Number 3, skills that you can develop. And number 4, kindness. Now, those things all come from private conversations I had with my son in that last year of his life. And not feeling like he belonged, which again, from the outside, you would never, who would ever have thought anything like that? Right. Not feeling like he had anyone he could connect with that really understood what was going on in his head and the struggle he was having. Having certain skills to be able to provide for yourself, to be able to get through those difficult times. Then, of course, he felt as though the world was a very unkind place. And after his passing, we had messages from people that have known him all over the world that the one resounding word that came out was how kind of a human being he was. And so we built those into the foundation. Now, in working to actually provide, because I'm a very pragmatic person, a practical solution, not just, validation of your feelings or just awareness. What can we actually do? I wanted to go out, and so we did the first leg of the I'm a Gamer tour. Now, that was 26 states that I drove through and talked with hundreds of people in a little over 3 weeks. And the main thing that came away from that experience, and I'm going to do a documentary. Now, the shocking thing is that, it's not really shocking. Very few people want to be on camera. So, that was kind of, other than the people that know me, we did some live streams and whatnot. Right. But I gathered a lot of data. And one of the most common things that I found in talking with these people is their lack of connection to those 4 things. Having a place to belong, people they feel like they can connect with no stigma, no judgment, being able to develop some skills to manage the challenges, as well as skills to be able to provide well for themselves in a completely changing world. And then also finding some kindness in all of that. So one of the things I've looked at for a long time. So just as a complete random side note, not many people, my chat all knows this, but for 6 years, I built and owned one of the largest CrossFit gyms in the world, and sold it in 2016. I was part of the paid staff of the CrossFit Games, regionals. I was heavily involved for 10 years in the CrossFit world. And so when I first met Coach Glassman, when I first discovered CrossFit, and this is relevant to what we're doing now, I fell in love with not only the business opportunity model, because it's not a franchise, they're based on affiliates, and an opportunity to build a community, and which is a large reason, probably if not the primary reason, CrossFit overtook the world so covertly, was that it built a community globally, individually based on each of the affiliates. And so I fell in love with the model and what it could do by inspiring community, inspiring creativity, connecting us globally under a specific mission. So for the last few months, with all that data, the last few months I've been looking at how do we build a community that's focused on those 4 things and absolutely can provide solutions that are not only not coming from me, because I'm not any kind of expert, but coming from the community in ways that we can belong, connect, develop skills, and find kindness. And so that's where we now have, I'll be announcing Friday morning. We'll have a launch the whole weekend, a paid private community on the platform of Mighty Networks that is going to be unlike anything I've seen since CrossFit, in its focus on community, its ability to connect, its ability to learn, its ability to share. And it'll be full of things. It'll be an experience for gamers that in my, what is it now? 45 years of gaming, being part of gaming communities from the time I was in esports to my time as a kid to time now. I've never seen anything like about what we're about to launch in terms of a benefit for mental health in connecting the gaming community. So that might be a little bit longer, Ahman, than you were looking for. But
that's all what I wanted to hear, because you didn't miss a detail. And I think when you're on a mission, when you have a drive, you know everything you need to know to let everybody know exactly what's going on, so they can figure out how they're going to support it, or just be aware of it and spread it out, by word of mouth or online or whatever. So no, that was plenty. John, did you have anything?
Well, I mean, just those 4, I guess, pillars: belonging, developing the skills, kindness, and I'm missing the 4th one. Sorry. Connecting. Thank you. Yep. I couldn't read my own writing. Connecting. Where did those 4? Why those 4? How did you come about with those 4 main points?
Yeah, like I kind of skimmed over. So you can imagine, so Mitch, the son that we lost, was our oldest son. And so we have 6. We have bookend girls, and then we have our 4 boys in the middle. Gotcha. And again, we're a very close family. But in some of the heightened times, especially near the end of his struggles, I would, of course, we as dads want to fix things, right? That's what we want to do. 100%. And he and I would have, hours of tear-filled conversations. And so, when I would say, when he would tell me, Dad, I don't feel like I belong. And that was hard to understand, because how close our family is and how many people knew and loved him. But regardless of what I interpreted that as, he didn't feel like he belonged, and whatever meaning that was for him. And then the second thing was, not feeling like anyone really understood. So when I say connection as the second pillar, John, as you mentioned, the connection is not networking like LinkedIn. I'm talking connection with people. Let me give you a brief example, if I could. A day after we lost our son, I had a friend of mine I haven't seen in several years, but he's a good friend, and he knocked at the door. And as soon as I opened the door, I happened to open the door. As soon as I opened the door, we made eye contact, and immediately tears just started streaming down our face. We embraced, because we were connected by the fact that we had each lost a son. He had lost his son about 8 years prior. There were no words necessary on that connection. We both had a deeply painful experience. Now, so that's connection that we talk about. People that can understand without a lot of explanation what someone's going through. Maybe you struggle with PTSD, and this, someone in the community deeply struggles with PTSD, and how are they working through it? That's what we're bringing together in this community. So the connection, because he didn't feel like, he would tell me, Dad, you don't understand what's going into my head, so don't say that you do. And he didn't say that in a way other than just, a sincere, and that was a lesson for me. You're right. I don't understand at all. So being able to make those connections. The third thing was, even as talented as he was, he didn't feel like he had the skills to provide long-term, for a family. He'd been working on a lot of projects as a tennis pro and a tennis coach. And then, most importantly, and we understand this, today in the world, is that the world just felt so unkind for him. And that's where those come from. So they were hours of, heartfelt, tear-filled conversations that I had with him. And they resonate with everyone that I've talked to in the 2.5 years since. And up until now, with this new community of everything I've been doing, from live streams to content to all of that, nothing's come together the way that this is to actually be able to provide those 4 things.
Right. Yeah, that's an amazing story that you told here today. What's been the I say the reaction to you going through the different states and going to different places? Because I've caught some of your reels where you're doing a quick little bit about where you're at and what maybe a question you asked the community there. So how's that been going? What's that been like?
I mean, I think that it was an amazing experience. I'm a people person, right? I get recharged by being with people. So I'm very much an extrovert. It's no problem. Everyone knows me. Anyone that has ever gone with me to the store or whatever it might be, I ask everyone if they're a gamer. That's why I named that tour the I'm a Gamer. I asked them, are you a gamer? And, I would say 18 times out of 20, the answer is yes. Now, when some random old dude walks up and he's holding a tripod and a camera or a gimbal and, something, you don't know quite how to answer that. If I don't have that, it's like, no, sir, I'm looking at going to college. It's like, oh, well, that's fine. But, do you game? And the next thing you know, when they realize that I game, I stream, I do these things, then the experience was tremendous, because they had an appreciation that someone that's a true baby boomer, because I'm not a Gen X, I'm a baby boomer, would have an appreciation for what gaming can do. And then I have such a deep love for gaming. I will tell you this one example, and there are many, that was very impactful. So I was in Rhode Island meeting with one of my followers, and he struggles with anxiety and always kept it covered up. He's just kind of the guy. I'm the dad, I'm the provider, I'm the husband, and I take care of my own stuff. And he told me that he started playing. He used to make fun of his coworkers that played video games so much. Long story short, his wife got him a PS4, PS5, whatever it was, and he started playing Call of Duty. And then he realized, and she'd say, hey, go play for a couple hours. You go down to their basement, and he play for a couple hours, and he realized he felt better. Well, he told me that one day he came across my content and he started watching me, and he said, I never made the connection that it was a therapeutic tool until I watched what you were saying and making that connection. He said, now I understand what it does for me and what it does for millions of people. And that connection, Ahman, is exactly the point of what we're doing, to help the world understand that done correctly, there's incredible therapeutic value. And I highlight done correctly. We have a whole system and a whole formula for how to do it properly and have everyone's support. But it is a powerful therapeutic tool. Now, what does that mean? That means one thing simply. We're not mental health care professionals. We're not providing, those kinds of services. And we tell people that all the time. But here's what I have found in these travels and everyone I talk to and people around the world. There's so many people hanging on by their fingertips, literally. And hanging on by their fingertips, just looking for some way to have relief. If we can, because I saw this phrase shortly after we lost our son, it said, we can't save everyone, but everyone can save someone. And so if we can get that someone, lift them up to the edge and let them have a seat, take a breath, look around and see that maybe that's not the best solution, then the work is successful. And so that's why the community is so important, making the connections of what gaming can do to get people down a path, whether that's to professional services or it's simply to be part of a community that'll continue to reinforce that progress, then mission complete.
I'm sorry.
Go, John. You got it.
I was going to say I think the concept of you talked about it being therapeutic. How is gaming in these certain situations? How is gaming good for your mental health? What is it about the 2 hours? Is it just an escape and relaxation, or what? I guess I'm just trying to. What have you found to be the best? Why is gaming good for mental health?
Sure. I'll give you 2 specific examples. Number one, I had a guy reach out to me. He sent his story to me. 4 tours overseas, incredible PTSD, depression, anxiety, and so much so that if a plate dropped somewhere, he would spin out of control. And so he told me, and I hadn't thought about this. So we talk about the scientific approaches that mental health care professionals use. Immersion therapy is one of those. And what he discovered is that as he played Call of Duty, which you would think someone with, incredible PTSD would struggle with all of those, because it's so similar to a combat experience in terms of what a game would do.
Right.
He said over the course of several months through immersion therapy in that game, he actually was able to start to make the differentiation between what was in his mind and what was real. And that helped him to get through those kind of critical points of his challenges with PTSD. That's one example. Another example would be grief therapy. I ran into a gal in, I think it was Gulfport, Mississippi. I was at a GameStop and there were 2 gals in there that worked there. And one of them, Sarah, told me that in the course of 3 years, or 2 years, in the course of 2 years, partly in COVID and after, she lost her grandmother, who she was very close to. She lost her sister, and then she lost her brother. And she was really, really struggling with the difficulties of dealing with that grief. She had multiple counselors she had been to, for several years. Then someone recommended a game called Spiritfarer, and she started playing this game. Long story short, you can look it up, Spiritfarer. It was a game about this character that helps, take spirits from the world into the next place they go to. And that game helped her start to deal with her grief, so much so that her counselor even said at the time, I think this is an amazing part of the puzzle, piece of the puzzle to help do that. So there's a long list of therapeutic experiences people are having with therapists or mental health care professionals that directly are attributable to experiences in games. And all of us have some kind of escape, whether it's watching a series on Netflix or scrolling TikTok, or, this just happens to be, gaming happens to be one of the most interactive, if done in the right way, positive experience therapeutically that you can do compared to 9 out of 10 other kinds of things, whether it's drugs or alcohol or any other kind of addiction type of a challenge. So that's those are just 2 basic examples. And what we're going to do over time is we'll have more and more mental health care professionals, and I've already talked with many that understand what I'm doing, and also would come and tell me that they're incorporating gameplay of different kinds in their own therapy.
Yeah, and that, like, for me, I mean, hit it right on the nail on the head for me. Like, when I was playing football during my career, after a game, so either a Sunday game, 12 o'clock or a 3 o'clock kickoff, where I had time to, I have the rest of the day. Game's over at 3 o'clock. I'm home, and if win or lose, I'll say more losing than anything. It definitely helped me because I would go play GTA for hours on end and just zone out. Like I put myself in the game just to get away from a rough loss or just a physical game, and then after those few hours I played, then I felt a little bit better, maybe still a little beat up and sore, but mentally 100% agree with what that soldier said to you. And I had the same experience with some soldiers right after football. I did a couple RSO trips, and I was talking to them, and I'm like, I asked the question, I said, kind of what you mentioned about Rob, was about, you playing Call of Duty, doesn't that simulate what that was your job, And he's like, they're like, no, it's just a little different. I can sit there and play it all day and feel better after the session with my friends or solo. I was like,
I think it's important to understand, because you bring up a great point. One of the things that there are many things you can do to help wind down, right? We all want to wind down. We want to clear our heads. And, there are things that you can consume, right? You can consume movies, you can consume, social media, whatever it is. The difference in gaming is that while you are distracting your mind, you're engaged in activities, whether it's simply decision making, so your mind is active recovery. Now, as an athlete, Ahman, you can appreciate what I was a competitive athlete most of my life.
Well,
active recovery. Well, and then I raced bicycles for 20 years, starting in BMX when I was young. So the active recovery aspect is very unique to the benefits of gaming. Unlike, for example, like I said, just watching a movie, and those are fine. But gaming brings another element that is an actual active recovery element, even though most people don't make the connection.
Gotcha. Well, I know talking today, you answered a lot of my questions already, which is great. But I got for you, I say a couple you haven't hit on, but to wrap this thing up here. So how can supporters get involved with 92 Foundation and GameStrong to help support it?
Great question. I appreciate that. So the 92 Foundation is a 501c3. GameStrong LiveStronger is a new launch. It was started out as an initiative of the foundation. So two things that can happen. Now, as of Friday morning, the StreetTacoEater.com will be completely updated, driving a lot of people to the community. So one, you can donate to the foundation. Of course, it's a tax-deductible donation. And that will go into scholarshiping people into this paid private community and other work that we want to do, a lot of behind the scenes things, whether it's providing equipment for people or other solutions or other types of, we can pay for counseling, whatever. So there are a lot of things that will happen there. And then I would say stay tuned at StreetTacoEater.com to watch for the updates. And then they can check out, there are 3 elements to the new community. There'll be a free chat and some free resources that you can access if you just want to kind of see what's there. And then there'll be 2 tiers, a core and a pro, both incredibly affordable for what we're going to be offering. There'll be daily live streams. So they can get engaged with the community, have a bunch of experiences in those connections, find a non-stigma environment of understanding the connection, develop some skills and find kindness always. So right now, as of Friday, now they can check out all the other things. They can go to my content. Everything is Street Taco Eater, but StreetTacoEater.com will have the updates. Right now, I think the landing page, I haven't even checked it, but I think if you go to GameStrongLiveStronger.mn.co, I think the landing page, I'll give it a test live while you're getting your other question.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got a question while you pull that up, Rob, is you keep mentioning, I've heard kindness in gaming. Can you describe what kindness in gaming means in practical terms, I guess?
Okay, the landing page does come up. So you can Street Talk, or it's GameStrongLiveStronger.mn.co. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that's been a real challenge for me, we know how toxic most gaming communities can be, especially just all of them. I've experienced them all, even having the work I did with the esports stadium in Arlington for 6 months behind the scenes. I was streaming from there, helping them out, bringing my programs in. One of the things this is a 2-part thing for me, and I'll make it very quick, John. Number one is that we as older players have a responsibility, just like anything in sports. Let me give you Ahman. So I don't know if you ever did a press conference. You ever do a press conference in your time playing?
Oh yeah. 100%.
Okay. So when you jumped into a press conference, did you get up there just dropping F-bombs and just slandering the league, or any of that ever happen?
No, not at all. I would have got fined, a big fine.
Right. So there were consequences. Right. There were consequences for the behavior. Well, in gaming, there's no consequences.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Unless you have a pro contract or unless you have some other things. So that's a problem. Number one. Number two, I remember not long ago, I was in a game. I always turn my chat off. For some reason, I had it on, or someone was sharing something with me. I don't remember what it was exactly. And it had to have been no more than a 9 or 10-year-old kid saying things that I would not have expected my son-in-law, a MARSOC Marine Corps Raider, to have said to me face to face. I was completely blown away. So while this exists, there have to be consequences in the sense that, number one, can we set the example? Can older gamers simply say, just go by example? Hey man, we don't use that kind of language. It's okay to trash talk amongst your friends, but when you're being negative randomly to people that you don't know what they're going through. So let's maybe just look at things a little different, so we can set a better example. I know that people will say, hey, listen, it's not my responsibility, but it actually is, because I'm hyper protective of the gaming community and what benefits it can bring. And so it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen in 5 years, but maybe in 10 years, another generation that can start to learn from those of us that will be exiting it, because I'm only doing this for 19 more years. Then we can leave a legacy that says, listen, there is a better way to do this. Can it be accomplished? That's a big mission for me, but I'll tell you, that's why that was a big push for a private community. Why? Number one, we started a private Minecraft server to teach those kinds of experiences, and why this private community is going to be all based on that. Because then we can keep the trolls out while we're reinforcing these kind of positive things. because there's so much opportunity and benefit in the community. John, I don't know if that answered that, but it's a difficult challenge for sure.
No, absolutely. I think it absolutely did. I do have a. Can I just ask you what your favorite street taco is? I don't want to miss this question before we. Do you have
you got to ask that one.
Like, how'd you get that? And do you have a favorite street taco?
So I grew up. I was born in Los Angeles. Grew up in Southern California. So I've been eating street food as long as I can remember.
That's a Cali thing. What part?
Yeah. So I was born in Linwood, California. Funny, I was in
Crenshaw area. I grew up
okay, there you go. Yeah. So we lived in Cudahy for a long time, Long Beach for a bit. So all of those areas, and then the family I have left is still in Orange County now. So I grew up eating that stuff. Favorite, listen, it's 6 ingredients, right? So I go around and I do reviews. I'll tell you this. Here's what I'm going to do. I make one of the best fish tacos, and I hate fish. I make one of the best fish tacos you've ever had. My kids beg me for it anytime we get together.
Good.
But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll make this announcement right now. I've made it to a couple of people in my inner circle. There will be a time within the next number of years, whatever it is, that because I'm in Texas now, I'm going to do. Are you okay? That's what you said. Are you in Houston? Yeah.
I'm in Houston.
I heard you talking about the hurricane and the fact that you survived that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to open up a food truck. It'll be a free food truck as I intend it, and it's going to be only brisket tacos.
Ooh.
So we're going to do smoked brisket.
Well,
it's going to be only brisket
Texas,
street
tacos.
Right, yeah. So that will be my vision for that. Will be a truck that travels around from community to community, and we'll just feed people. And
awesome.
As many as we can get out in a day. So if you ask me my favorite, anything beef, but being in Texas, it's brisket.
Yeah.
But I've had them all. I mean, I've had outside. Well, that's not true. What is true? I don't eat birria tacos are delicious in terms of the seasoning, but I don't eat goat, and I won't eat tongue and all the crazy things. So pretty much a beef guy.
I've seen the tongue. I've heard of the tongue ones, and they'll get into the real deep street taco dumb right there. So
well, that sounds amazing, by the way, just going around and just handing out free meals.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
We're looking forward to that.
And I'm in Texas. So where are you at? But north in Dallas or San Antonio?
Yeah. We're in Fort Worth, and I'm actually down in Houston quite a bit. My business partner has a house in Houston. So we're down there quite a bit. So we'll have to connect and get together.
Because I say, we definitely got to connect, because I'm kind of starting a journey where you're way down the road on. I have a 501(c)(3) myself, and awesome. I'm going into that neighborhood because I've been coaching esports for the past 5 years at Lakeland University, at the University of Nebraska, where I played college football and was a student. But something that got, put on hold because of COVID, and I think a lot of people have that, is my foundation. So now I want to get that going again. So
it's awesome.
I think I found a brother that can help me out. Right up there.
I love it. It's a great marriage too, because I don't do anything in esports anymore. All of my stuff is gamer community. So having that connection with work that you may be doing in esports is fantastic.
But with my 513 and what I'm doing, it's going to work because I coach it and direct it. But what my foundation is doing something a little bit more than just the esports side of it. So that's where in my brain, and once I fill you in later on when we talk, you're going to be like, okay, yep, I can love it. We could collaborate on that. So you already explained all the projects, but just do it one more time for everybody that maybe some people just jumped in the chat. So what are the upcoming projects or events and website updates, things that are coming down in the next 6 months to a year?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there'll be a part 2 to the tour, as I anticipate in August sometime, be the Western U.S. So stay tuned on that. Okay. But again, the absolute biggest thing, there's the foundation, which you can donate to. You can find it on StreetTacoEater.com. And then as of Friday morning, we'll be launching this new private paid community. It's the core membership is $15 a month. The pro membership is $25 a month, and it will blow people away with what we're going to do there in terms of actual community value. And so those two things. So Friday morning, the website will be completely updated with all of those links. You can learn about it, and we'll do the official launch. People can start to join now. We'll do the official launch on Monday after the weekend. But I would just say this, whether or not you participate with what we're doing, I would say the number one thing, please just share your love for the gaming community and understand that there are so many people that use gaming, as their way to belong, to connect, to develop, and to find kindness. Yep. And anything that we can do in that, outside of even the work that we're doing, all plays into it. And anything I can do to support anyone, Ahman, like you're talking about what you're doing with your nonprofit, I'm all about. I'm absolutely all about.
All right, Rob. Thank you very much for sharing. And I know you, like I asked you to see if you could hang on. He's going to jump on with us. I know we got a couple of things to run through for us and the show. John, I know you got to get going real soon. So let me know what you want to hit first before we move on. Because I know there's some things that you like to talk about.
Well, I mean, I would like to get to the boys, but I also want to, I mean, NFL, not NFL, the new NCAA football game is out. I'd love to maybe go some quick hitting news bites real quick.
We could do that. Let's
do that and then go to the boys.
Yeah, we'll hit it. Quick hitting news bites right here.
Here we go.
All right. John, you're up first, sir.
So I thought of you, Ahman, right when I saw this headline last week. So it's kind of an older story at this point, but the headline from USA Today, guys, current NFL stars, so it says current NFL stars will be available to play in EA Sports College Football 25 video game. Now, this is, if you're online and, this is the talk of a lot of gamers, especially on some of my feeds. It's just talking about playing with all the, NCAA football is back and they're so jazzed to be playing with their favorite college team. But it looks like, Ahman, that they also worked in a deal with the NFLPA to bring current NFL stars. Now, current, have you heard about past NFL stars? Because the first thing I thought of is, oh boy, watch out in Nebraska. They're going to have Ahman Green back there.
Which they do. Boom, boom.
So you are in NCAA football as well?
Yes. Yep. I'm in it to win it.
That was my question, because this said current. And I was thinking, what about past NFL stars?
No, for sure. They reached out to me probably like 2 months ago, and they kept following up with me. And finally, this week sent me some of my game codes for my pleasure, for me being a part of it and agreeing to be in the whole launch of the game. Have you played the game yet? Because I know I just started playing it today. Did a little of the tutorial just to learn the rhythm of the buttons. I'm not much different from Madden, but then some of the button pressing is going to be a little bit different. I noticed not as quick reacting as the NFL quarterbacks to the college quarterbacks. So. Oh, really? Okay. Yep. Excellent. So then I guess my last question for this is, so does a guy like Ahman Green, then you fire up Nebraska and 100% the good old days? Yeah. They have an ultimate team in here, so I'm gonna check that out. I'm assuming it's the same, but obviously college players currently, and then some former pros like myself. So I'm gonna see how that. If it works like it does in Madden, I think that's gonna be fun, because then I'll be on the same field as like Dylan Raiola, who's the quarterback, incoming freshman for Nebraska now. So that'll be pretty dope. That'd be pretty cool. That's cool. Like all the different years of Nebraska coming together. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Someone saw Devin Hester for kickoff returns. Oh, for Miami, the U. I was gonna say, where did he go? Miami? Okay. Yeah, he did. He was a Hurricane. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a nice little thing to add to that game. I think EA is doing a good job. Like, to have that idea pop in there, which I didn't see it coming. I just knew they always do like you build out a player or recruit a player, and then make sure he comes to your school at the end of the recruiting process, stuff like that. But having Ultimate Team, where it brings in the pro side of things and the college side of things, I think that's going to be a little bit of a game changer, something different to college football. Has been gone for 11 years now, so back in the fray of things, of everybody's dialogue. I say queue of games, because this would be one game I'll play at least 4 or 5 times a week to make sure I get my skills tight, because I've already been reached out to. Hey, you want to play a few tonight? So I gotta get on it and make sure my skills are tight for competition today and and for the rest of the weeks of the year, basically. So it's gonna be fun. I'm glad this game is back out. Yeah. And maybe the kicking takes a bit of getting used to, according to Troy on the chat. Yeah, it's not hard. You just got to focus. And I tell people, because I coached it, I say, hey, just go into the skill challenges and the skills area, the practices they have. Just go in there and practice kicking, practice some of the things you take for granted, because you're thinking that a kick, it's easy to kick a field goal, it's easy to make a punt. No, sometimes if you don't know where that meter where the strength of the meter is to make sure you put enough power in it, and then the accuracy of it too, then you'll mess up. You'll mess your game up, or you'll lose a field goal. You'll lose all because of a field goal miss, or a PAT miss. You don't want to lose because of that. You want to lose, on the bigger parts of it, where it's offense, defense adjustments that you gotta get down. So yeah, so this is a big game. Everybody's happy about it. The world is safe, or I say the world is back at normal for a little bit, until something else happens. I don't know. My question, my hope for where EA is going with college sports, and now they're allowed to do it now because all the NIL has been, I guess, figured out for now. I'm waiting. Like, where's the EA college basketball?
Thank you.
Where's the college baseball?
Yep.
Where's the women's volleyball? Like, give me that. Give me all the other games for college sports now. Like, I want it all. You gave me football. Give me baseball, basketball, volleyball, tennis, track, whatever. Please.
Yeah. And we know the timeline, right? It takes a long time to develop a game. It just does. It does. So when you say college basketball, and hopefully, obviously, the women's side is included with the men's side. This is college basketball, men and women. But I about volleyball as well, and I thought, oh man, this is probably how long these games take, man. They take years.
It take at least a year to make. So
so waiting for volleyball, that we might be waiting a few years.
We might be. So Rob, what do you think on this game coming out and what they've been doing a little differently and what they had to wait for it to do so far?
Well, so I haven't been to sport games very much, but one of the people on my chat, one of my followers, just messaged me, Street, that college football game you should try out sometime. Been playing it nonstop, not gonna lie.
Right. Wow. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I got a little bit into it right before we started stream, and just a little bit slower button reaction. Other than that, I like it. I'll get used to the buttons, because it's a new game. You gotta always do that. That's your biggest adjustment when you're playing new games, is learning the mechanics, what button does what. Exactly the timing when to press it. So my timing is off. That's about it. It's nothing that EA did. Everybody tried to blame the developer. Like, no, man, you got to learn the controls. Get it down pat before you blame the server, you blame the developer or anything like that. I had another part of gaming, Rob, right? Players are mad at the PC, mad at the equipment. I'm like, what the PC do?
That's right. That's right. You can only make so many excuses.
Right. What the Xbox is just the Xbox, man. It's just sitting there. It's warm right now because you've been playing it a lot. But
all right, but let me say, in fairness to all of my community, Activision has really got Microsoft, now that they bought it for $69 billion, they got to step up the plate on servers and some game issues, because there are some things that we've been playing for over 20 years that have never been resolved. So while I absolutely agree with you, like there's a skill you got, with changes, especially with new games, there are some games that just need to be fixed. Yeah.
And you referencing Call of Duty, or where you at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to look. It is what it is. It's expensive. It's a multi-billion-dollar platform. But when you have a game that's the biggest franchise, one of the biggest franchises in gaming world, and you're on servers that have the worst ping, the worst, they're old, outdated, it's not, and you don't do anything about it, it's just, anyway. That was my only Activision rant. Listen, I played a lot of years. I buy the battle pass and I buy skins. And,
I'm right there with you. So yeah, we do have the right to complain a little bit. Here we go. For my quick hit news bite of the week is actually, again, it was last week as well. But I thought this was one I keep going to, is Xbox confirmed another Game Pass increase and new tier that doesn't include day one releases. So this is something like when Game Pass came out first, I was just like, okay, cool thing. I don't have to go out and buy a lot of games, which I was doing, being a gamer, avid RPG guy as I am, was like, okay, but now price up a little bit at a time, dialing it up. And so I think this is where they're going to obviously come across people not being very happy about this. And if I look up, I think I had pulled up the actual price list. Here we go. I'll pull this up here on the next page here, and it shows you here the price list per country. And here, and let me see what US, we're obviously in alphabetical order here. We're right here. So we were here $69.99. Now we're jumping up to $59.99 and $74. And I think that's per year, I believe. So Game Pass in 12 months. Yep. So this was the year here, and now they're cranking it up to $60 here in the US.
I always get
right here.
I get
$60, $75 per year.
I get so touchy, Ahman, with price increases because I know that at times you as a consumer, you just feel forced. Like, well, I guess that's what I'm paying now. And they know that. And they know that you'll feel forced and just say yes. And they know they can do it again. And they know they can they're going to push. They'll push until it's at its max, until the data starts saying, hey, we're losing people. Then they'll finally pull back. But they're going to push until they can get every single penny. I don't know. It gets me a little frustrated, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I was like, I don't mind if you just send out a disclosure, or not even a disclosure, or just an email saying, hey, prices are going up. And if they did, I missed it. Maybe, hopefully they were considerate of that, but do that as a company. Like if you're going to raise price, hey, we're about to raise prices in a month or a year, here's it. You can either opt into it right now or opt out of it, early enough. So then you don't have to deal with the price rise. So, but just letting people know this is a big platform. Is not only console, it's on PC now. It's been on PC for the last couple of years. So this is a big move for Xbox, and them having, I say the way with, competing with PlayStation, because PlayStation has its kind of like Xbox Live part of it or Game Pass part of it. And I think they're kind of ahead of them because they've been doing it longer. So I think that's where they have more people subscribing, but also got to tread a little lightly to you always got to keep your fan base happy, but obviously you can't succumb to it. But from a business side, this is where they'll got to be mindful of it as they continue to potentially, cranking this up throughout the years. So Rob, where you think on this, this topic here?
I'm a big, I've owned a lot of companies, a lot of businesses over the years, and I'm a big free market guy. So I understand. For me, first of all, let me just say this. I think all games should be free, and I think they should be built on microtransactions. I'm realistic, though, to understand that can't be possible for a lot of platforms whose legacy is on predictable revenue with monthly subscriptions. Look, Microsoft paid $69 billion for Activision alone, right? Yep. And they're moving Call of Duty to the Game Pass, and they see the value in that. But that being said, it's the fear is always, because these big companies are beholden by stockholders, right? And turning profits. It is difficult to, in the Call of Duty community, a lot of discussions have been, are you just going to milk it like Tommy Hilfiger got milked going to, Walmart or whatever? I mean, it's like, it's kind of dying, brand, or are you really going to bring some innovation? So I think the question becomes, if the price increase is there, but it brings incredible new value, new innovation, new opportunities, then we'll all support it. But Call of Duty has lost tens of millions of players because they continue to sell battle passes and raise the price. I'm just using that as an example. There are many other games without bringing incredibly new value. So I think we'll all tolerate pricing increases if we can see, and not just the perceived value, but there's actual real value there.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
But if it's not that, then it just is. Then we just leave and get frustrated because it's a highly competitive market.
Right. And it's one thing that we may have to put on hold for a little bit, But no, I 100% agree with you. Like, as you see the price go up, but then you're like, let me go in, let me give it a shot. Give it, let's see how it works. What's new, what's different, what new games they're putting in this, what other publishers were able to come in the umbrella of Xbox to go on there, or PlayStation, whoever, and Steam. Like Steam is like this too, so it's just that when it then says, okay, you play a couple games or you download some things that wasn't there before, they give you some features that didn't, weren't there as well. It's just okay, now I can see its value, that is worth the price. And then, but you got to find that, so as a customer, you got to look at it for yourself, and it's not just go and be like, oh man, you see the price and you're like, oh, throw your hands up, I'm out type thing. So sometimes giving it a shot is another way to look at it as well. John, you got anything else to add, or Rob?
No, I think you guys nailed it.
Yeah. So yeah, just something that a lot of publishers, from a business standpoint, obviously they got to delve into sometime. They got to push that envelope just enough, but hopefully they don't push all the fans off the edge with this price increase. And hopefully it's the last one.
Yeah. Don't we wish?
Yeah, don't we wish? Hopefully, as I said, hope. Hopefully is the last one here. So on that note here, we'll get over to where are we at here. We are down to the best thing on social media. Now we got some fun stuff here, Rob. So we find anything on Twitter, at our X, Instagram, and that we think is funny, encouraging, or just an update, or just straight up funny. And we'll talk about it here. So I'm gonna run the intro. You're so dumb. For the best thing I've seen on social media.
All right. I like this. Best thing we saw on social media.
Yeah. So John, you're up first, and man, I gotta say, this almost brought me to tears, man.
Isn't this great? I love
awesome.
this. I think this is a reminder, as sometimes I'm a parent, 11-year-old, and sometimes parents can
turn the volume down.
Yeah, not all parents do this, but we can look at video games and we can be like, you're wasting your time or whatever.
I can't find a volume switch, so you can talk it through, then I'll turn it on.
Oh no, you can't on the video?
Yeah, it's an audio, but it's just cranked up loud, just so you know.
Oh. Let me see if I can help you out with that. No, I can't. But anyway, this is the video I found on the internet that I thought was really refreshing.
You won?
Yes. Look. First place. I won.
This is awesome.
Look. I won.
What?
Send that to Bronson.
Okay.
Won. I actually did.
Isn't this adorable?
It's awesome. Man, they don't have me crying, man. I was like, oh man, I'm so happy for little dude.
I love the encouragement too by the parent. Like, it's a big deal for the kid. Like, it's a cool thing for him. He got his first Fortnite win.
I think he said something about he's a good sniper too. He threw that in there. I was like, oh my god, he's working.
What?
Send that to Bronson.
Okay.
Send that to Bronson. Whoever Bronson is, probably one of his buddies.
Yes.
He is just
I have
pumped
all
for
the
that.
abilities, and I'm very good sniper.
There you go.
There it is.
Yes. Look.
I saw that. I was like, this is just fantastic in all sorts of ways. So I really enjoyed that video.
It is.
Look. Look.
All the way downstairs, making it. And you know what's impressive? And Rob, you'll be like cognizant of this now. That is a big screen TV. He's not on a small screen TV. So that means there is lag in that game. So he's winning with lag. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to remember what would have been the equivalent of me growing up to this was probably like beating Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
Like when you get past level 8 and Bowser, and I forget exactly, he's jumping around throwing axes or something, right?
No, the fireballs.
Oh, is it fireballs?
No,
okay.
Yeah, the axes and the fire. No, the axes were the other guys. They were the guys that hopped. They also had a turtle back. They had the
the Hammer
back.
Bros.
Hammer Bros. There it was. Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, I just remember that would have been probably my equivalent. I wasn't as young as this gentleman right here, but I remember, when you get your first win, that's a big deal. I like that video.
Yeah, I would say for me, definitely would be beating my dad at either Tecmo Bowl or John Madden football. It was Tecmo Bowl, I think. And I beat my dad for the first time. And it was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm done. Like,
he's out.
He said, no, he said, I could barely score against you. I was like, yeah, I've been playing a lot. Oh man, so yeah, great story there about my man. What's this? I say from Speed Demon says, this is how I felt when I would win races in Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2 back in the day. Yes, indeed. Hey, that was the one. Need for Speed was the first game I 100% achieved all the achievements in the game, and I was so super excited. And after that, I tried to do it again, and I found out it was not as easy on other games to get all the achievements found or completed as Xbox and PlayStation do. Oh my God, this another fun thing to do. Get all the achievements. Go on an achievement hunt. You done that, Rob?
Oh yeah. I mean, first of all, let me just say thank you for starting the whole segment with Leroy Jenkins. I use that in my stream all the time. Leroy. I mean, I was actively heavily involved in the World of Warcraft community when that spoof video came out, and we didn't know for months that it was even a spoof. So I love that. No, I have used that clip. I've talked about that quite a bit in content with my community, because it's very representative, like you said, of both sides of what that young man was able to achieve, and the fact that the parent is supportive of that. But you don't get that in many other things. And when a kid or any of us put time and effort into with a skill-based activity, and then you achieve a reward. There's incredible value in that. And so, yeah, I love that clip. We've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, fun clip there. Fun clip. So headed over to my best thing on seen on social media. So I went down, of course, my Halo path, brought in some Halo. So I found some Halo footage on Instagram. And this was their new Game Pass battle. They have a battle pass now, Rob. I think you might be aware of that. And they're dropping skins every 2 to 3 months, new weapons, new skin for the weapons and your armor as well. So I thought, gotta throw this up for all the Halo fans in the chat and watching my show and my stream as well, because I'm a big Halo guy. That's my one shooter. My number one shooter, my number 2 shooter is Call of Duty, and then Valorant, Fortnite, Apex on down from there. But it always comes with my man Master Chief and crew and the online play. Online play has been real fun so far. So there's another. It's called Free Operation Anvil. Dropping a hammer on you. That's what that is right there. Anvil. So thought it introduced new weapons, more skins. The beautiful thing I've been loving about the skin action, the skin game for Microsoft and Halo is they've been doing like all the month stuff. So when it's Black History Month, when it's Juneteenth, when it's Asian Pacific and Indian, Native American or something like that, they have a skin for all the months. I mean, they really are doing their homework and showing representation for everybody that's on planet Earth, which I love it. So that part is, I got my soldier, I got a Juneteenth tag, and then I have, I think, a LGBTQ color line on a color skin on my Spartan. So, and I have all of them unlocked, so I switch between when it's that time of the year, when it's a certain month, I throw on that skin to represent and support. So I'm like, that is cool as well. So I thought I'd get the preview of that. So that was the best things on social media there. John, you got to run, or you still hanging around?
I could do the boys, and then I got to run.
Okay.
All right. Well,
we could do it next. Get you to, because I know you want to talk about it. Let's see. We go here to game.
Sorry.
What's on stream? No, it's all good. No apology. All right, what's on stream is coming right at us right here.
Row, row, row your boat gently up the. Sorry, excuse me. It's time for what's on stream.
All right, so Rob, and anybody new to the show, we watch a series and then we break it down. We recap it. So we've been watching. We started with rewatching, started the new season of The Boys, which, if you watched it before, it's a way different depiction of superheroes. Just to say that, I'll just put it at that. And it's on Prime Video, and we got my man Homelander, and it's having, I say, midlife crisis kind of in a way at the start of the season 4 here. So
Spoilers.
John, So real quick, also spoiler alerts coming at you. So if you watch the series or haven't watched the series and you want not to know what's going on, you better mute us now and then come back later to when we get into the other stuff, like game releases coming up here in a few minutes. So hand it to you, John.
Is this the final season of The Boys? I just saw that on the video.
Good question. I don't know. Did it say that?
It said the final season. I don't know if it
It
is.
might be. It might be.
All right. So the way I just kind of write down my thoughts as the episodes go along. Number one, I didn't know if that was a new actor playing Mother's Milk.
It's the same. No, he lost weight.
Is that what it was?
It's the same guy. He lost a couple pounds. He's been working out a little bit. So.
Yeah, and then I was like, hold on, this is not the same guy. He looks totally different. And then I looked it up. I'm like, no, it's the same actor. I'm like, why does he look different to me? He's lost
in the weight room.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But the number one thing, whenever, I don't know, do you guys get this? Whenever you start a new season of a series that you've been watching, and if you're not watching it, back to back to back to back, and you have to wait in between seasons, my brain purges the last season's storylines, and I am always like playing catch up in episode 1, even with the recap. Even if there's a recap, I'm still playing catch up mentally. Does that happen to you guys?
No, I remember. The recap helps at the beginning of the shit, of the first episode. It went back and showed you what happened in the last end of the season. And I have a pretty good movie and TV show memory, especially the things I'm into. So I remember where everything left off, where at the end of most The Boys series, it's FUBAR. You know, it just things go off the wall. People get their heads blown up and all type of stuff. So, Rob, I don't know if you've seen this or heard of The Boys yet. Have you?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I will say this, not my typical go-to, but I'm a pop culture. I appreciate pop culture. And when I watched the first episode of the first season, I got to say I wasn't expecting the different twist.
I was, because I have a good friend who owns a comic book store, and he warned me. He said, Ahman, he said, this is a little dark. I'm like thinking like Batman dark. He's like,
right.
He's like, no, I'm not talking Batman dark. I'm talking, let's see,
gruesome dark.
Yeah, it's gruesome. He said the blood scenes or the fight scenes are brutal. They're popping heads literally, and I'm like, oh wow, really? You know? Yeah. And that was Homelander having his midlife crisis. They're finding gray hair. I was like, superheroes, you know what? Never asked that question.
Well, he must be aging.
Well, Bruce Wayne, I have gray hairs. Not a super.
I thought Homelander was kind of like invincible, which he still is, but that proves to me that something's happening here where he's going to be affected. He's getting older. Yes. He may not be the infinite guy we're thinking of, or the
well, I think that's one of the big spoiler alerts, right? Is that he's changing and he's recognizing it, and you know, what's he going to do about it?
He's coming to grips with it right here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he's so in control, and people fear him. No respect. It's all fear for sure.
Mm-hmm. They fear him. And even all those around him, you find in episode 1, just are yes men, basically.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's sick of it because he wants somebody. And so he goes, they have a list of new heroes they could go to. And he goes to Sister Sage. And that's the one.
Last scene there. Yeah.
So my question then is, I was confused. How did she know so much about Homelander just by looking at him? She's smart. That's part of her superpower. Is she able to like read minds?
She's the smartest person on the planet. So that's her superpower. So she just knows everything about everybody and knows everything about the history of the earth. And she knows everything.
Just knows everything.
So when he came to her, she was like, she wasn't worried because she's like, you need me. Like, he's like, usually people are your yes men or yes women. And then also, if we don't do what you want, you kill them. But you need me. So what's the deal, basically? She didn't say it exactly like I said it, but in that way, because she knew you wouldn't just be here talking to me, knowing my power, that I know everything. And I could help you plan out things to help you get better at being in control because of what you're finding out about yourself physically. You're not as strong as you used to be, and you're losing something. And she did that as well. So he kind of looked at her. It was a scene they already shown here, and gave her the look like, yeah, you're right. And she looked at him like, yeah, I know I'm right. So it's just interesting to see that part of it. So that's to answer your question, John. Yeah.
2 other things. Butcher was making side deals with the politician Victoria, and I wrote, this isn't going to be good. But then by the end of the episode, we realized that maybe Butcher had a change of heart when he sends her the files she's supposed to receive, but they're not the files. It's a picture. Right. You know what? That's all you need to know. And then the most gruesome scene to me was when he invites his fans up and he tells the other superheroes there in the room to basically kill them.
Yeah, so he is playing games now. Like, he's trying to gain power back.
Yep.
So he did it. He set everything up to get more people behind him, because it's like a vote going on. I think somebody's running for something. The one politician is running for something. And so they're so he basically set them up by saying, look, I'm going to bring my best fans in, and for the yes men in the room that are trying not to be yes men, you just bludgeon them to death. So that was that scene, being created by him, Sinister, and that was with the help of Sister Sage.
Yeah,
to help her and planning that all out, which was a bloody, gruesome scene there.
They plant the dead bodies at outside the courthouse,
at the rally.
Where the 2 sides kind of clashed, and then Sister Sage kind of started that, so they'd clash. Then they leave the dead bodies there to say, like, look what this side did. When all in all, it was Homelander. But then this is my biggest thing. This is what I want to say. Okay. Like, I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm sorry. but they would do an autopsy on those fans that got killed and be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm pretty sure this was killed by someone with like a bat speed of 500 miles per hour. You know,
and the time of death too. They could figure out time of death as well.
And the time of death, but just the way like those bats like flew into these people to kill them.
Yeah,
I was just thinking that's like a 5. That's no.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. You're gonna look at the bodies and go, this isn't match up with what happened here.
Right, it's superhero
Am I
stuff.
wrong?
No, you're not. And you see this scene here, where another gruesome scene here, where the daughter of the politician, she's been giving her the V product, or the Vault product that changed a human into a super, and so she got snakes coming out of her mouth. So this first episode opens a lot of doors, and you see everything from the end of the last season, where you saw the politician having the V and injecting her daughter, knowing that she was trying to save her life, but then saved her life, but changed her into something else. So, this series, the book and the series, or the TV show too, is just it's a tough series, Rob. it's a tough series to watch here. And there's the politician there, and Huey, who thought he was going to hurt her somehow with throwing acid on her, but she's a baddie though. She's a
everybody has a storyline.
Yes.
Everybody has their, and I know this, hey, welcome to TV, John. I get it. But it's just like Butcher's got the secret file storyline. Huey's got the storyline with his dad. The guy can't remember his name with the lady that can't get killed where she grows her arm. He's got
yes.
Everybody, everybody's got a storyline. I don't know. I'm excited for it though.
That's very strong. I know that much.
Yeah.
He's super strong with it. So this is where we're starting off with season 4 of The Boys. And of course, it doesn't surprise me how this episode went. So went completely, and they're already greenlighted season 5. So
this is not the last season.
This is not there it is. It's not the last season. Maybe season 5 is the last season.
Okay.
Yeah, right. They got some. First episode is like this, then it's just, I think it's uphill from here. It's not downhill, it's uphill. Some more stuff. But a lot of politics, because they know they're working with the one politician that is working with Homelander behind the scenes. They don't really know that, but few people know Kimiko. There it is. I was about to look it up. Kimiko and Frenchie. Yeah, you see their background stories as well of them working together, but the show starts with them going covert and trying to get to going into the politician meeting as waiters and waitresses, and doing some things behind the scene there to stop somebody doing something. So it's a lot of stuff going on in first episode already. That's all the stuff from season 3 that is kind of continued on, that needs to eventually, and it's going to keep going, because if there's a season 5, then there's going to be more interesting things coming at us. So be prepared, Rob, if you're going to start watching this.
I mean, it's a pop culture thing. As much as I just kind of cringe at a lot of it. I mean, I mean, it's coming from a comic book series. I mean, there's a great storyline to it, obviously.
Yeah, a rated R comic book series, just to say that to all the people tuning in. If your kids walk in the building and you see the Boys comic book in their backpack or something, you might want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
With your kiddos there. But season 4 episode 1 is called The Department of Dirty Tricks, which is probably perfect because there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like I said, one dirty trick there, that's Homelander meeting with Sister Sage and the plan they put together with the whole politician rally, and then throwing the bodies there. So that was one trick there, but a lot more coming at you. So it's going to be interesting with the next couple episodes. What we have for this season, we have 8 episodes.
Oh, they're going to go fast, Ahman.
Yeah, they are 8 episodes. Yeah, I mean, this week is the final episode. If you're watching, if you already started watching it, this is actually the finale week already. So that went by fast. So for us,
we're a little behind.
We're a little behind. We're about 6 weeks behind, 7 weeks behind. There we go. So
all right, Ahman, I got to run.
You got to run, John.
Thank you so much.
Yep, Rob. Thanks for hanging around for that. And I'm going to get on to Oh, the game releases now. Video games, stuff we always talk about on this show. Let me see here. All right. Where's that at? Game releases coming at you, Rob. There it is.
It's time for the game releases. Game releases.
All right. Well, John is gone, so we won't talk about his game. I think his game was Lifeless on the Moon. I know the name, but I think he has all the stats on it. But I'm going to go to my game, which is a game we already talked about on this show a few weeks ago because there's a big announcement about Nintendo bringing this out, Nintendo World Championships. I'm super excited about. You get to test and find out your skills. Nintendo Classics. So this is right up our alley, Rob.
Love it.
So all the speed racing, all the World Championships that was happening back in the mid to late 80s, you can go test and find out where you stand amongst the pros in this game here. So you get to, which I didn't know about Excitebike, but I knew about Mario Brothers.
Oh my goodness, I was a huge Excitebike fan.
Yeah, I played that too, and then Legend of Zelda. That was my first official RPG. Big
good old DK.
Yep, Donkey Kong, and then I didn't know it was actual. So I thought all the competitions was like between Mario and Metroid, I think, and I didn't know Legend of Zelda was in the fray too. I was like, wow. I'm like, I didn't know they had those games were big on the competition side of it. I did not realize that. I'm like, oh. I was like, gotcha. So it show you all the games within the game. So this game is gonna be on Nintendo Switch. I think it comes out tomorrow. So you get to experience all the oldies classics where everything begun and goodies for a lot of us. I say especially the two guys you see on your screen right here. You know, one before the other here. This is where I started gaming.
Because we remember when they weren't oldies.
Exactly. And you couldn't save it. You had to finish it. If you cut off the system, you had to start all over.
Yep. Yep.
It was no memory cards. It was no terabyte of drives.
Nope.
And it was no internet.
Nope.
So you could play this all day. So that's why it was good. You could get on it. You didn't have to have Wi-Fi or anything like that to play the game, to upload the game or anything. That everything was in the cartridge or the floppy disk, maybe back on.
So with this World Championships, you get to. So the idea is that you go in and play these games and see how you fare against other people in the world.
Yeah,
that's
other
awesome.
people in the world, former champions that
nice
did some of these records.
Yep.
Yeah. So you find out where you stand.
So you get to you can chase what they did and see where you rank.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a good friend that I've had here on the podcast a few times, and his name is Grand Pooh Bear. So you can watch him on Twitch, and he's on Kick as well. And he's a speed racer, and so he plays games this fast. And I'm like, wow, very, very impressive. And he's on, like I said, he might be on right now. He's always streaming a new game. Sometimes he plays other games too. I know he's been getting into iRacing recently. I saw him.
Yeah, I did iRacing for a year.
How you like that?
I'm a huge driving game guy, and one of the things I want to do in time, when I build my ultimate studio, if you will, is I'm going to have a full experienced hydraulic driven sim. And so I've looked at several. They're incredibly expensive, so it's a ways down the road. But iRacing is really interesting because if you watch the movie Gran Turismo, you understand the idea behind it. But iRacing is a little bit different in that it's probably the most realistic experience, not just in the driving of the game, driving of the cars, but in how you progress and rank and penalties and all kinds of other things. So if you want the feel for what it's like to be a true driver on a circuit of some kind, it gives you that. For sure. And so there's a lot of serious diehard. I'm not talking about, GTA driving or, I'm talking about these guys,
Gran Turismo or something.
Gloves and boots and have full sims and, so it was great. I mean, I did it for a year. I had a lot of fun, but it takes a lot more, I would say, commitment to being successful at it than just, opening up another driving game.
Right. Because you got to, for one, buy the rig, and then two, be on it all the time because you got to memorize the tracks.
Yep.
and know when to break, when not to break.
Yep.
Know when
When
to accelerate.
and you got point series, and you've got, I mean, collision penalties. You've got, I mean, it's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very, very realistic in terms of the overall experience.
Okay, gotcha. Didn't know it was penalty for running into somebody.
Yep.
That new. So with this game, you got 13 different classic Nintendo titles. It takes the challenge online, like I mentioned, the World Championships and survival modes, or go head to head. You can play locally with up to 8 players in party mode. So you can experience all this and more in the Nintendo World Championship Series. Like I said, out tomorrow. And it's on Nintendo Switch, so I'm pretty sure that price is not going to be too bad at all. It's going to be like $40-$50. They do a good job keeping the prices in a good moderate area for gamers to go buy them, So I'm going to definitely get this. I said this when John actually talked about this like 2 months ago when they made the announcement they were dropping this summer. I was like, I'm getting that. I mean, between Metroid and Legend of Zelda, you had me. Those are my Friday, Saturday.
Well,
games.
I mean, Excite Bike's on here, so that's got me.
Yeah, I remember learning how to do wasn't it like if you hit the ramp right, you got like extra air.
Mm-hmm. Got to hit the ramp right. You got to land right. You got to.
When I learned how to hit the ramp right, I was like that little kid. I was like, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm getting more air.
Exactly.
There you go. So yeah, check out Nintendo World Championships. Go find them. Enjoy. This is another part of the best generation that is on Earth right now. The baby boomers and Gen X. And I'm a Gen Xer. I'm a Gen Xer. So
you are a Gen Xer.
Oh man. So yeah, there we go. With that right there. And that was game releases of the week. Please check it out. And then I think that was it because we did the what's on stream already. So that's the end of the show here. So Rob, man, I think, man, you staying on for the long haul here. I didn't get the chance to mention it. We're streaming on. The only thing that didn't happen today, since it was an older link, I didn't get the Instagram and the X properly. Actually, X they let me know we were just talking about price rises. Since now I got to go premium on X to stream live on X now. So just talking about the whole Xbox thing. When I went live, X sent me a message said now you got to use premium to be allowed to stream. So I'm like, see, they didn't get me. That was the first notification too. So I'm not happy about that.
Yeah,
so, but they got to do their thing. But yeah, I usually stream on X, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube, my YouTube channel as well. And then I see you that you're on there as well with your YouTube and your Twitch. So hope you have fun.
It's a blast.
Great time. And again, we got to collaborate because I'm in Texas. You're in Texas. We're in the same neighborhood in terms of 501(c)(3)s. And I'm building up my website myself right now too. So I'm doing a lot of like inline things. Like I said, you're a little bit further down the road than where I'm at, but I know you can help me out. And
anything you need. I'm excited for the collaboration on that kind of work. I mean, don't hesitate, Ahman, and I'm looking forward to meeting in person. But between now and then, I would love to learn more about what you're doing. And I love your show. I love the efforts you're putting into gaming and esports. So yeah, I'm excited.
I will. I'll say for that, I just had a thought run through my head of what I needed to relay the message. Darn it, it'll pop back. But yeah, I'm getting my foundations rebooted back up in the gaming space, helping, what I used to do was free football camps, things of that nature for kids in the Wisconsin and Nebraska area. Now I'm in Texas, and I know football is big down here, but also esports is big down here. Being in Dallas, I know you know that as well. They got like the esports museum, esports history museum or something like that. And
there's a lot of great stuff. And just not too far from you, you've got the Boeing Center, which has, was built primarily as a big esports venue. They use it for a lot of concerts. They have a big gaming center in there. I've done a ton of content down there, but yeah,
I'm gonna check it out. It out there. We got connected. My 2 daughters live up in Carrollton, so when I go visit them here in the next month or 2, and then I'll let you know I'm in town so we could connect.
Yeah, if you need a place to stay, we've got 4 extra guest bedrooms up here. So
yeah,
you just let me know.
I know, and we're gonna be gaming all night. So
probably we'll just hang out in the studio the whole time.
Yep. So everybody in the chat, hey, I appreciate everybody coming into the chat and experiencing the show. And I know we had a couple weeks off, so we'll be back. Actually, yeah, I should be able to stream next Wednesday. If not, I'll send out a tweet. Or if you're in the Discord, please join the Discord. You'll find out if the show will be up because I'll be more traveling because I'm doing like my man Rob here. I'm all over the place. So I got Evo tomorrow and through the weekend, and I come back and I do a sports talk show. I'll be going to, I think, Indianapolis for Big Ten Media Days, and then coming back and then San Diego Comic-Con at the end of next week. And then I'll wrap up my July and I'll be done traveling. So got some I got another 10 days of travel and doing some, I say it's all business now. It's all work now because I'm like, my wife's like, man, you just going on have fun. I'm like, no, I got my camera. I got my gimbal. I'm going to be interviewing. So if anybody's in those areas, anybody going to Evo, let me know. Let's link up. Anybody going to San Diego Comic-Con in a week from now, I'll be there next Friday, the 26th. Let me know. Love to hang out with you guys being in San Diego Comic-Con. It's a fun event. They have a masquerade. So I will be in cosplay for Comic-Con, just so y'all know. I'm not giving up I did talk about, I'm going to be Luffy from One Piece. I don't know if you into anime, Rob, so I'll be doing that.
Yep.
So
one of my sons is, I'll be, you got to send some pictures. One of my sons heavily into anime, so I love it.
Okay, will do. I got your information. I got your email. I will shoot that to you once I am dressed up for Comic-Con next Friday and Saturday. So, all right, we're going to tune off here. So, Rob, thank you for jumping in.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking soon.
Looking forward to it.
Yep, and to the chat. Hey, see you. If things are going next week, it'll be Wednesday as today, 2:00 Central Standard Time. Same bat channel, same bat time. So there you go. Here. So let me get out of here now. Get the music going because the music is always good.